What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you want to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Putting our minds together like this was what provided success, no doubt about it.
Oh, I'm just glad I could help.
Yes, and I hardly did anything myself. None of this would be possible without all of your powers.
After that round of pleasantries, we discussed the state of the labyrinth. Sales were going great, really great. It made Mjolmile laugh, although all the work made him cry. Plus, the people visiting town were staying in our inns, enabling the innkeepers and the nearby taverns to run a booming business.
Here is my report.
Mjolmile said as he took out some papers. Veldora and Ramirez seemed interested as well, so I made some copies and passed them around. I figured I'd quickly skim over it to see if there were any problems at hand, leaving the detailed number crunching to Raphael. Right. Let's see what we have here. It's times like these that I'm glad I can go into human form. I could read through papers as a slime, of course, but for office work, being human was far more convenient. According to the data on the report, things had gone smoothly with our labyrinth since our adjustments.
Looks like our advertising worked well.
Oh yes, we're astonishingly busy every day,
He said, eagerly nodding. Veldora and Ramirez looked at the report, whether they could understand it or not. For the most part, it was a ledger of our most recent statistics, but there were a few special topics covered as well. One of these was the adventurer cards, the guild membership IDs that could be used as admission into the labyrinth now that Mjolmile had received Yuki's approval to do so. These cards were magic in nature, keeping track of the bearer's vital signs and retaining that data in a record, which was quite convenient. They allowed for seamless labyrinth entry, just like how you'd use it at your free guild post, so it was easy for adventurers to get to grips with. Hardly any bodyguards or mercenaries weren't guild members, either, so the implementation went pretty smoothly. For the moment, the labyrinth's admission fee was 3 silver coins a go. The cards were manufactured by the free guild, saving us from production hassles. Our own nation provided basic cards as well, at the cost of 10 silver, and while most challengers were guild members, we occasionally sold these cards to people, too. Between all of that, we were raking in a lot of money just from admission alone. The report also contained details on the 3 Ramirez-produced items in the labyrinth. Your first resurrection bracelet cost nothing, a freebie so you could see how useful they were. After that, you had to pay for them, but at just 2 silver coins, they were quite reasonable, especially considering they not only resurrected you but also healed any of the wounds you incurred that led to your death. After debating it for a while, we decided to keep the price low as a service to our audience. By the way, we had a warning announcement play if you re-entered the labyrinth without wearing your resurrection bracelet. If you got yourself killed in there, that's none of my business, but it'd still leave a bad aftertaste in my mouth if that happened. To make them easier to buy, the bracelets were sold right next to the front desk, where we had the dead resurrected. Between that and being a pretty indispensable item, they were selling like hotcakes, definitely the most popular out of the dungeon's 3 items. Return whistles, meanwhile, allowed a single person to instantly zoom back to the surface, a godsend if you got lost. This was insurance for a lot of parties, so it was priced on the high side, 30 silver per whistle. People tried to cheap out on these and just rely on resurrection bracelets instead, but I wouldn't exactly call that smart. Yes, you would be whisked back to the entrance that way, but you could lose your equipment and stuff as well. You'd keep whatever armor you had on, but anything that slipped out of your hands at the time of death was gone for good. Nobody's literally carrying booty while in a fight, of course. You'd probably drop it in the corridor for the time being. Losing that stuff could make for a pretty hefty penalty. Few people would take that risk just to get back to the entrance, so there was a pretty decent demand for whistles. Finally, recording crystals weren't selling as well as we hoped, but we did see some clients purchase them in large quantities. At 1 gold coin a pop, close to $1,000, they were luxury goods, no doubt. And why not? They let you basically turn back time whenever, and wherever, you wanted. And since a lot of people would be focusing strictly on the bosses, letting them go for cheap seemed kind of dangerous for us, so we priced them sky high instead. Still, I thought there was a demand for them. In the deeper levels, the difficulty really ramped up from floor to floor. The save points on every 10th floor could very well seem like a trip across the continent. Thus, I figured it'd be a while before we profited from them, but even in these shallower levels, some people were still using them. We were also experimenting with renting weapons and armor out to people, but that hadn't turned a profit yet. These were Karabe crafted goods, pretty decent quality, and since many people rented them after dying and losing their main weapon, the feedback from them was excellent. With the right word of mouth, I think we could see demand rise soon. So by and large, things were going well, but just because we were succeeding now didn't mean we could let our guard down. Right now, we needed to be more prudent than ever before. The party at the forefront of the dungeon was continuing to do well, going deeper and deeper without anyone dropping out. They were drumming up enthusiasm among the other challengers, too, people who kept coming back after messing up. That improved our sales, a cycle we needed to keep going. If we can convince people that it's worth coming back again and again, then even our initial goal of at least 1,000 admissions per day seemed surprisingly attainable.
So, looking at Molly's report, I'd say we're a pretty resounding success right now. But we can't rest on our laurels. If you've noticed anything, don't be afraid to speak up.
I wanted everyone to be at attention as I got the ball rolling. Ramirez was the first to react.
Me.
Alright, Ramirez?
You know the elementalist using elemental communication? Boy, I sure never thought about relying on the spirits for info like that. But I can interfere with that, if you want. What do you think?
Interfere, huh?
I did want to put some obstacles in their way, but it seemed kind of like a coward move to me. The approach this party took was completely orthodox, so getting all evil with them felt like we'd be going against the spirit of the rules. This isn't a war, or a competition or the like.
But it's not like the spirits are being forced into it, are they?
No, if they're providing that much support, clearly the elementalist must have a great relationship with them.
Better not interfere, then. I'm not into that kind of thing.
Roger, I figured you'd say that, Rimuru.
Ramirez was quick to back down. I suppose she wasn't much for it but thought it best to bring it up anyway.
No, it is not good to lie. But, Ramirez, why not create an elemental free zone? That elemental communication, it works by listening to the smaller spirits that have taken root in the area, no? And it can't work if the spirits aren't there, yes?
Oops, that's some surprising stuff coming from Veldora. He's normally so useless to me, but sometimes even he says something intelligent.
Rimuru, why do you look so surprised?
And he's sharp, too.
Oh, no, I'm just impressed as always with you, Veldora.
I said, a little shaken.
That's a really good opinion.
Yes, is it not? My vast expertise has saved the day once more.
Good thing he's so gullible.
Well, Ramirez?
Sure, I can do that. I'll just ask the spirits to relocate for me. Without any conscious spirits in the vicinity, elemental communication can't do anything at all.
I guess that could work. Maybe, thanks to Veldora's proposal, we could do something about elementalists after all.
Great, let's do that. See, this is exactly why I think brainstorming like this is a great idea.
Yes, quite so. You see, my vast wisdom is—
Okay, next, anyone have any other observations?
I couldn't let Veldora get further carried away. Time to move on. It wound up being Masayuki who spoke next.
Do you think defeated monsters could drop items for the explorers?
Monsters leaving items behind, common in video games but kind of enigmatic from a real-life perspective. And our monsters already left crafting material and magic crystals. Wasn't that enough?
Why do we need to do that?
Veldora asked. Masayuki's answer was simple.
Huh? Well, I mean, healing potions are, like, surprisingly expensive. High-ranked adventurers use them all the time because they can afford to shell out for them, but most people would rather run away from a battle than risk getting hurt. That, and if you die in the labyrinth, you're resurrected without any of your injuries, so a lot of people just, nope, out of there instead of using any of their potions. So I'm just thinking, why not have monsters drop low potions or something when killed, so that everybody has access to them?
It was a valid point. Our nation's potions served as advertising, and their usefulness to us was starting to expand, but they didn't come very cheap, no. In fact, sales were starting to stagnate a bit because of the price. Within Tempest, low potions cost 4 silver coins, high potions were 35, and full potions, while not offered for direct sale, would probably need to be priced at over 500 silver. Or 5 gold coins if we did offer them. Meanwhile, the cheapest inn in our city cost 3 silver a night without meals and 5 with a bath and dinner. A nicer room, used by passing merchants and the like, averaged around 10 silver plus meals. On the other hand, a D-ranked adventurer earned, on average, about 15 silver coins after a day of work in the labyrinth, maybe 20, if they worked in a party for more efficiency. That was good, for now. enough to live day by day on, but not enough to prepare for any kind of emergency. The treatment they'd need if they were sick or badly hurt, or any kind of social safety net, really, would be out of the question. Plus, they needed to maintain their weapons, buying new ones if they broke and saving up for better quality goods. In short, low-ranked monster hunters lived a hardscrabble life. If they wanted a better one, their only choice was to polish their skills. And in a life like that, 4 silver coins was a painful investment to make. They need to put money aside for admission, of course, and I sure get it if a potion just isn't in the budget for them. And yeah, I know they're gunning for a treasure chest with a major find inside, but it's not like whatever they discover will make them filthy rich.
That's common in games, yeah. I understand what you mean, Masayuki, but the monsters are naturally generated within the labyrinth, so I think it'll be hard to have them carry items.
It'd be a mistake to excessively spoil our visitors, giving them something they didn't ask for in the first place. I'd like to do something to help, but I think they need to be able to support themselves first. That's what the Free Guild is there to assist with. From our nation's perspective, we can't really provide welfare to people who don't even live here. It's not exactly pretty, but you need to be strong to survive.
I think we can do that.
Ramirez casually commented, just as I was mentally throwing in the towel.
Really?
Sure, just have them swallow the item right after they're born.
If that was possible, it opened up a few possibilities. Maybe we could populate the treasure chests with more useful items and let the monsters drop the junkier stuff for explorers. Junk or not, it'd still be a source of income for the lower ranks, and going forward, I'd like those lower ranks to have something to live on. In a perfect world, people are rewarded for their efforts, and I wanted to make that happen as much as possible.
Well, no problem, then. If it'll help people gain more of an income beating monsters, I bet it'll make them try even harder for us.
And it'd have the side effect of boosting the trade in monster-derived materials, as well as providing another attraction for our nation. And once we have some more money to work with, we can divert some of that into welfare programs.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. Shoutout to Rembaru, Luminous Eka, Fennec Foxy, ISB, Rahul Subramanian, Wubba Lubba Dub Dub, Louie, John Carl, Best Isis, and last but not least, shoutout to Corey Adfina. I'll see you guys in the next video.